Everybody. This is Eric, the Nobody Trader. I'm just going to do a quick evening update and give you some levels for tomorrow to watch on the SPY and the NQs. It's 4:28, 5 o'clock my time. 4:28, 2025, and it's 5 o'clock my time right now. This is my disclaimer, which you should read. This is all for education. I'm just showing you guys the levels that I'm looking at and the thoughts that are going through my mind, which today was kind of this is a daily chart here of the NQ, the NASDAQ 100 E-mini futures. And I realize I need to keep better notes, so I got to go back through and watch the other videos that I made. So I'm going to have to start doing that. But, I'm learning at this too as I go. So cut me a little slack. I've had a few subscribers sign up, and I want to thank you guys. And appreciate your time. So we talked the other day about the big breakup candle here and how we closed above it. And we're basically in a sideways chop right here. We have this daily candle here, which I did not like. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this real quick. Let me put a circle here. Whoa. So, this area here today was kind of an inside day. We just basically chopped sideways for the most part. No big moves. We retested the top of these candles here. And this is nighttime right now. This is what's going on right now. And the only thing I will say about this is, let's see, how do I get rid of this? Is I really don't like this candle now. It's not the end all be all. What we could do is chop sideways here and still try to make a move up. But there again, there's a level here that we've talked about that we have not gotten over. And it's this six. What do I got? Let me redo this here. Sorry. Yeah, we're basically talking the 660 level. And we're trading between the 361, kind of area. We did wick down through here. I'm still a little bullish, but I'm in question, right? I'm thinking we may get a rollover, potential rollover, and still come back into the 19,058 level. But unless there's big news or something, we should trade in this range tomorrow. Unless there's a huge gap up overnight, no telling what happened. But, like I said in my earlier videos, I mainly trade the white lines here, which you see is profit, and the 50% level. Now, these other levels, you can trade off of them. I'll give you guys those numbers, but it's not something I rely on. It seems like once it breaks a 50% level, either way, right, it makes its move and it tries to get to the main profit level. Or it breaks it here and comes down and goes goes to the next level. So, we're still kind of where anything can happen here. I don't like that daily candle, especially where it's at. A lot of times that means a pullback / reverse. Or we got quite a few green days here. We got gaps to fill back down here. So, just be cautious. That's what I'm looking at. I want to see closes above here before I'm real bullish, above this level on an hourly time frame. Not just a 5-minute candle getting up there and then getting slammed back down. So the lower level, the first level that we could come into, depending on what happens overnight. Blow this up here. I'm looking at 19,056, 056.50. We have the 361.50 area, which has been pretty good support. And then we have the 660.25 if we go north. That will be big resistance, though. And, they've already gotten close. So they're consolidating. What they could be doing is consolidating, kind of soaking up some of these orders to try to make another run up. but it's the market, right? Can't trust anything. All we can do is trust the chart. I mean, I used to think, oh, I put thinking into it, and that's for me. I always lost money when I thought about it, and I'm better off just following the chart. And the chart's telling me right now that we have a good possibility to reverse or consolidate some more here sideways. I think is maybe what's going to happen, but there again, it depends on news. So that's why I always look at the chart. I always pay attention to the chart because I've lost a lot of money listening to what I think. So we got the 660.25. We get above that. We got 959.25. And then a profit level way up here at the 2260-ish area. So we'll leave that alone for now. Let's go to the S&P 500. And one of these days I gotta straighten out this watch list. I got stuff mixed up all over. So the market's always giving us clues, right? I'll take this off for a second. And there again, this is not a good daily close. There again, it doesn't mean it's going to completely roll over, but that's not a bullish signal, right? We've got our support here at the 552 area that it did not close over that. So there again, it's kind of the same thing as ANQ. I'm expecting a pullback, possible gap fill. Who knows, right? We still have this gap here from roughly 529.27, 534.04. Let's see. So, I would just be real careful. I mean, technically, in my opinion, until we break, we reject off here and we start trading, we break this big daily candle. We're still trying to be bullish, but, it's anybody's guess at this point. I would just really pay attention to the larger time frames on your charts to give you the overall direction of kind of, what's happening. I like to use the stochastic momentum index. You can use MACD, RSI, any of that stuff. I do have one that I've been working on for a long time. I think we have all the little bugs worked out, but I'll show that to you guys on a later day. So looking at a daily chart again here, let's get some numbers. So let's put our fib on. So if we come back down and break the 544.83-ish level, our next stop's going to be 537.67. And I believe I talked about that the other night. We have this level here, this 530.51, where we'd also potentially fill this gap. So, it is conceivable for this to pull all the way back down in here. And this profit level down here is roughly 523.36. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. If we go north, gap up on news or tariffs or who knows. So we got 559.10, which will be an area of resistance. 566.25, which will be resistance, and 573.40. I mean, that's a long ways for that thing to go in a day. It can. So I'll go ahead and give you this level 2 up here, which is 580.54. So, throw those numbers on your charts and just see what happens. You can start getting a feel of what happens when it runs into those areas. I will show you guys here real quick. Let's go to an hourly chart. Just so you can see how profit's done in the past. So you can see right here, this is the first of the year. So it's plotting everything ahead. And then I'm just using the fib, right? And you can see that, these levels, they work. Like I say, a lot of times I love taking these trades here when it comes into these levels, these reversals, because even if it's even a small move, in contrast to this big move down, I mean, there's still a pile of money there. Here's 551.92, and it, jumped up to 563. That's pretty good moves. So, and that's the thing about these areas. You can usually get a trade off either way because, it's not just going to wall straight on through there. So anyway, draw another level here so you can see how all the interaction, around these levels. So anyway, I think that's about all I got for tonight. I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. And I'll try to get another video out tomorrow night. We'll see where we wind up tomorrow. Who knows in this crazy world, huh? Thank you for watching, and have a great night.